Can you name this note? What about this one? How about this? Here's the last one. Chances are you probably couldn't name any of those notes just off the top of your head. Most likely, and that would be because you do not have perfect pitch. Perfect pitch, or absolute pitch, as it is also referred, refers to the ability to identify or produce a musical tone correctly without the benefit of an external reference. This ability has also been associated with certain disabilities like sensory and development disorders. People with perfect pitch have a tendency to have more autistic traits as well. I found this interesting and thought it was kind of weird, just that those two correlated, but as I thought about it and watched more videos, I saw that this was actually seemed to be true. A lot of the videos I've seen of people with perfect pitch seem to have more autistic traits, or that they just don't quite understand some social cues and certain things like that. I have watched a lot of videos on perfect pitch, just seeing how kind of rare it is and what people with perfect pitch, how they interpret music and just the world in general. It is estimated that about 1 in 10,000 people have perfect pitch. This is according to a study done by the University of Chicago. Now, through my video research and everything that I've done so far for this topic, I've realized that perfect pitch is something obviously extremely rare, but it is something that can be extremely helpful. One of the ways that people with perfect pitch view the world is when they hear a note of some sort, when they hear some kind of something like this, something like these notes that I played. I have an interesting effect on there right now. When they hear a note like that, they are able to identify it immediately by name. So they would know that this note is a C. They would know that this note is also a C. Here is a D. Here is a G. They would be able to know that immediately just off hearing it. One of the things that I found interesting was that people, when they hear a note, a sound, it could be anything. It could be a snap of the fingers. It could be just the notes that I'm making in talking. They associate those notes with colors. And it's almost like the way I've heard it explained is that they hear colors. They hear or see them in some way. Their brain triggers a signal so that they hear and see a color related to it. So just as a brief example, me trying to understand this and explain this, here I'll play the note C, and maybe when somebody with perfect pitch hears this, they see and hear the color blue. Or when I play the note G here, maybe they hear and see the note or the color green. Perfect pitch is something that cannot be trained. It's something that you're born with and that you can develop over time. But it's a gift, truly, especially for people who are musicians. Some notable people who are musicians who have perfect pitch are Charlie Puth and Jacob Collier is the other one. Both of those are pretty well-known people who have perfect pitch. I've seen videos of them when they're at a concert and somebody's phone goes off and then they start playing the ringtone on the piano in front of them because they're able to instantly recognize it, which is incredible. For musicians like myself who do not have perfect pitch, we can do something to develop what is called our relative pitch. Relative pitch is basing something off of another note and finding where it lies on the keyboard or whatever instrument. I'll try to explain that real quick. So in any key of music, there are 7 notes. So if I play in the key of C here, this is our root note. This is like our home base. This is our safety net, is this note here. One of the things that we do to try to train our ear is to match that with our vocal cords. So here we go. Bum. Same note. So we do that, and that's our home base. Here are the other 7 notes, or the other 6 notes of the C major scale. I'll play them here and I'll number them all 1 to 7, and the last note I play will be a C again, which I'll just call 1. So here we go. Here's 1, which is C, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and lastly 1 again, which is C. It's just an octave higher. Same note there, C. So one of the tools that musicians use in developing their relative pitch is called understanding intervals. Intervals is the space between notes. So like I played and I numbered all of those, I'll play a major third, which is that first note, C, and then the third note is a major third above it. And that is an E note. So it's you can also do it with a fifth. Here's C. I'm basing the second note and knowing where it is in the scale of C major based off of the C major note itself. This is something that people with perfect pitch don't have to do, but musicians who are trying to develop their relative pitch, this is a helpful way to do that. So here's a brief chord progression that I'll play, and then try to explain how that relates here. So here we go, in C still. So that was me playing a C chord, an A minor, an F, and then a G. Here that is again, C, A minor, F, and lastly G. Those chords work together because they're all in the same key, and with a good understanding and training of your ear for relative pitch, it's kind of like training a muscle in that way, like you would train anything else, like going to the gym and working out. You're working out your ear and your ability to hear different frequencies and relationships between a central note, in this case being C. The concept of perfect pitch and relative pitch are both fascinating and can go down a lot of rabbit holes researching them. But for musicians and aspiring musicians, it is very important for them to develop their relative pitch in their ear in order to be able to play along with others and just better understand music as a whole. People with perfect pitch are obviously blessed with that gift, and they are better than the rest of us because of it. But people with relative pitch can get very close by doing a lot of work as well and training. Thank you.